Welcome to American Dream TV. I'm your host, Marceleen Wurst, and today we're at the Edison and Ford Winter Estates in Fort Myers. They were the first snowbirds in Fort Myers, and Thomas Edison was once quoted as saying, "There's only one Fort Myers, and about 90 million people are about to find out." Alex, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Yes, of course. Wonderful to meet you.
Let's take a step back into history. This is the most amazing tree I've ever seen. What can you tell us about the tree and the significance to the estates?
So this is a banyan tree. Not only does it have and showcase ornamental beauty, but it was used for one of Edison's rubber research projects, which was his main focus here in Southwest Florida. And it was believed that Edison planted this tree around the year 1927.
Wow.
So it is about 95 years old today.
So Alex, when did Edison first come to the area and build his home?
So Edison first came to Fort Myers in 1885, and he ended up building the homes here in about 1886.
And then when did Ford join him?
Henry Ford came a little bit later. So he was first invited as a guest to the Edison estate in 1914, and then he purchased his estate 2 years later in 1916.
How original is this home to the time?
So the homes are pretty much all the original structures. All the original materials are still present with the homes. We did go through a big major restoration project between 2003 and 2006.
And what was the significance of the gardens to Edison's work?
So the significance of the gardens was huge. Edison used botanicals in a lot of his research projects, from the light bulb to his rubber research. So a lot of these plants Edison used as a part of his living laboratory.
And we're back on the east side of the estates, and we're about to enter the museum. And this is so amazing. So we have all of these vehicles that were donated by Ford, so that we have the history here of the automobiles.
They decided to come up with this idea of taking camping trips just across the United States, especially with the Model T revolutionizing travel. So they started in 1914, and they would take these trips every year from 1914. They started off in the Everglades. There were no roads, so they kind of just had to off-road and go with it. But they really weren't afraid to go out and experiment with different things. I mean, that's what these men were about. They were all about discovery and innovation. And this is one way.
Inventing the road trip.
Right, so they did it in a very creative way. So some of Edison's inventions that we have on site still do work today, such as the phonograph. So I can play one that's from the year 1904, so you can hear music that's more than 100 years old. I'm gonna pull out that needle. So we'll open these doors here and it heads straight to the lab.
So Alex, tell me about this laboratory. Is the original laboratory that Edison experimented at when he was here for the winter?
Yeah, so this was Thomas Edison's original lab to 1928. He used it solely for his rubber research project. So he founded the Edison Botanic Research Corporation in 1927, dedicated to finding a natural source of rubber. So this is all the original materials that he used for that research endeavor.
Looking forward to showing you the beauty of our area and why we call Southwest Florida a dream place to live.